Hi, folks. Wow, what a breaking news day and week it has been. Oh, we got a lot to get to today. All sorts of headlines here. DeSantis mopping the floor with Charlie Crist in the gubernatorial debate. The Fetterman Oz debate, which was complete disaster. You have China drawing straws right now, folks. The Zeldin Hochul debate, the Whitmer-Dixon debate. These are the gubernatorial debates that took place earlier this week. And finally, some justice. The Christmas parade black driver who killed a bunch of white people in Waukesha, Wisconsin, is found guilty, I believe, of 71 or 76 charges. Schumer caught on hot mic. Kami Harris's yellow school bus rant. We'll get to that if we have enough time. The news of the day, folks, is, and it's a shame that this happens. Is Paul Pelosi, husband of Nancy Pelosi, was violently attacked at around 2:30 in the morning Pacific time by a loon, obviously a loon, whack job. And the stories, they change. Everybody prays. We all pray for a speedy recovery for Mr. Pelosi because it's not your fault. There's crazy people in the world. Hopefully they don't let this guy out on cashless bail because, they do that in California. However, Paul Pelosi is husband of the Speaker of the House. So therefore, he's probably going to be kept behind bars. So, cheers, happy hour, Halloween Friday. No shots of rum tonight, folks. I've already done those. Cutting down, doing fewer. It's just going to be beer on the show today. So anyhow, the Paul Pelosi issue. No, it is a travesty that this happened. What is odd is that it happened 10 days before the midterm. And it's more odd, folks. And again, I'm not going to try and politicize anything here, like the left already is, and we're going to get to that in a second. As I have said, and one of the conservative morning talk show hosts down here has said, the most pervasive form of media bias is omission. And by that I mean, we have it right here. Let me see which one is which. ABC News article. Pelosi's husband attacked by man with hammer. Suspect said, "Where's Nancy?" That is the title of the article. Suspect 42-year-old David DePape attacked Paul Pelosi with a hammer, when officers responded to a priority well-being check at 2:27 a.m. local time, San Francisco police have stated. Officers tackled the suspect and disarmed him. Let's go down a little bit here. Okay. But according to the Institute for Strategic Dialogue, a think tank dedicated to researching extremism and disinformation, DePape likely was motivated by a range of conspiratorial beliefs. In the last 2 months, DePape had posted dozens of articles and videos to his blogs spreading conspiracies and hateful rhetoric related to COVID-19, women, Hillary Clinton, the Jewish community, federal law enforcement, e.g. FBI, government censorship, Russia's invasion of Ukraine, the climate crisis, Q-Anon, the 2020 election, the transgender community, and grooming in schools. the ISD has said, though no posts were found specifically mentioning Nancy Pelosi. The article goes on to talk about how President Joe Biden spoke with Pelosi Friday morning and expressed his support after the horrible attack. Chuck Schumer said what happened to Pelosi was Paul Pelosi is a dastardly act. I spoke with Speaker Pelosi early this morning and conveyed my deepest concern and heartfelt wishes to her husband and their family, and I wish him a speedy recovery. Pretty much everybody on the right has also said that. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell had tweeted that he's horrified and disgusted by the attack, adding grateful to hear that Paul is on track to make a full recovery. That's what ABC News and just about everybody else says. Now, if you look at Rolling Stone, the headline is, the guy was a QAnon freak. Election denier, Trumper. The things they put on everybody that does one of these heinous attacks, even though they're all whack jobs. The guy in the Capitol building with the bullhorns was a whack job. Many of these people are whack jobs. The only difference is the guy with the bullhorns didn't actually hurt anybody. Although he made a lot of us look bad. Nevertheless, it's not okay to hurt people that you don't agree with. Now, where I call this fake news. So now we're going to go to the Daily Mail. Daily Mail says, headline, who is Paul Pelosi attacker? Berkeley man tied to nude activism, far-right conspiracy theories suspected in assault. And if you look at this guy, he looks like kind of like Ethan Suplee, the guy from My Name is Earl, but with hair. And definitely maybe some... I mean, like his face is really small for his head. So there might be some, inbreeding going on in there. And that's, of course, this is an old picture that they have on here. Okay, San Francisco police, blah, 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 blah. But, again, no, this is not the Daily. This is Mercury News. Never mind. Complicated picture of DePape's fringe beliefs began to surface Friday through his online presence connection to a Bay Area nude activist community. An online blog, Facebook page, and personal website included virulent viewpoints spanning anti-Semitism, promotion of the far-right QAnon theory, and 2020 election denialism. But see, Berkeley and Nudist is what they're leaving out. And apparently... also, the blog, which lists DePape as the author, includes a flurry of posts slamming woke racists, proclaiming that Hitler did nothing wrong, and lauding podcaster Joe Rogan. DePape's... Wait, this gets more interesting. The main focus of DePape's anger in recent weeks also appears to be in social media restrictions. Tech giants and private industry will be so powerful that they can single-handedly silence the people, he wrote on his blog. The blog site, which is now removed, was titled Welcome to Big Brother Censorship Hell. The uncle of the suspect, Mark DePape, told CNN, I really don't know what to think. Hopefully it's a scam. I don't want to hear something like that. Now, again, this kind of seems like it might be a scam because, I mean, all this conservativeness, the 11 days before the election, who knows? But the point I'm trying to make is that the fake news media didn't put him in as, tie him to being a nudist and from Berkeley. Berkeley's extremely liberal, especially the school. There's another from USSA News. He's also known as a Castro nudist. Castro nudist and hemp jewelry maker from Berkeley. He came in with a hammer yelling nails Nancy. Now, I don't think he beat Paul Pelosi with a hammer, but from what I had initially heard is that he didn't actually come in with a hammer. Paul Pelosi was using a hammer to defend himself, and when the cops showed up, this wacko grabbed the hammer and began attacking Paul Pelosi with said hammer. And we just had breaking news on Fox that Paul Pelosi is out of surgery for repairing the fracture in his brain. Also, he had some severe injuries to his hand and arm. Again, we all wish him a speedy recovery. But we do wish the fake news would be accurate in calling this guy a Castro nudist who made hemp jewelry and is a nudist activist. Why? Okay, hemp jewelry, nudist activist, yet QAnon guy, an anti-pedo. That doesn't make any sense, because if you want everybody to walk around naked, I don't know. I'm sorry. You might fall along the lines of a pedo. Just saying. Just saying. So, again, that all being said, that's that. That shows you the fake news and how they are fake news. Now, on to the next topic. I think we're gonna go. Now, once we're on the did I mention in the last show, folks? I think I did, that they caught the serial killer in California and he was black. Yeah, I think I did go all about that. And that's why you really haven't heard much about it, because he was black and he wasn't a white guy. Doesn't fit the narrative. Yeah. Anyhow, if anything else, maybe post a comment and I'll break it down in the next show. Not that hardly any of you watch this damn thing anyway. Okay, now next, the Waukesha Christmas attack. Where is it? No. I guess I haven't filed that one out. Okay. Well, we'll get on to that one. That one, Daryl Brooks found guilty of killing 6 people and injuring dozens of others. Through the Wall Street Journal here. Daryl Brooks found guilty in homicide at Waukesha Christmas parade attack. Jury found Daryl Brooks guilty of 6 counts of homicide for driving into. No, can't get it on Wall Street Journal. You have to be a member of them. Oh, I should have known better, folks. Sorry about the delay. Well, sometimes brandoning happens on this program. There we go. Yahoo here. Point is, the guy got busted. He got convicted for over 76 counts. That's what I thought. Almost a year. Killed 6 people, injured dozens of others. Daryl Brooks Jr. was convicted of all counts. After being sequestered Thursday night after about 90 minutes of deliberations, the jury had its verdicts early Wednesday. Judge Jennifer Darrow reading shortly before 11 a.m., beginning with the first-degree intentional murder. This is from the USA Today. And then 10:45 a.m., it was again guilty verdicts, 6 counts of first-degree intentional homicide, which all carry mandatory life in prison terms, followed by with the reading of the verdicts for all 76 counts of everything else. And apparently he cried on the stand, whatever. I'm sorry. The dude, again, when a black guy drive through white Christmas parade, and many people believe, folks, that this is was in retaliation to Kyle Rittenhouse and Kyle Rittenhouse getting off. Maybe it was before he got off. I don't know. Maybe him getting off was a result of this. I don't remember the timeline. But see how this, again, this is what I'm calling the fake news, because they leave things out. You didn't hear anything about much really at all on CNN, PMSNBC, NBC, CNBC, ABC, CBS. That line goes on and on and on. You didn't hear anything about this Waukesha stuff on those networks after it happened. None. Again, just like you didn't hear anything about the serial killer when it was determined he was black. Now, you'll see it on Fox News. You'll see it on Newsmax. You'll see it on One America News, all those outlets, but not on your mainstream media. Surely not on Joy Reid. So that's where we are with that. He's busted. People are pissed, but maybe Black Lives Matter will protest it. But he's only getting life, and this also is on the heels of, I don't remember if I mentioned this last week, that Nicholas Cruz managed to get sentenced to life in prison. Ron DeSantis had a problem with that, and therefore is overlooking how the jury system works so that one juror can't decide the fate of the rest. For example, most everybody agrees that he should have been sentenced to death, but one woke woman on the juror panel, folks, she had to be woke. She said he had a mental illness. Oh my God, we can't kill him. That wouldn't be the way to do it. The way to do it would be like, well, he's whacked, and I think he might have it worse in prison. And besides, the execution is going to cost the state more money than keeping him alive, because there's going to be appeals, there's going to be this, that, and the other thing. The state has to pay for the public defenders. So it would cost more to execute him. In theory, it's what my late mother always used to say, and she was a great lawyer. It would cost more to execute him than it would to give him life in prison. However, this is all about mental health. Well, there's only one way to cure mental health, folks. And the guy's already been on tons of drugs, and he's still nuts. So if the drugs don't work, well, hey, throw them in the general population and let the guys in prison do their thing to them. It'll be the same deal, I guess. So, that being said, we got through that. Now, on to the debates. What are we going to do first? We'll go for Florida, the first one of the week, which was the DeSantis Crist debate, and this is from some local news source. I don't even remember who it is. WSJM. Charlie Crist started attacking DeSantis, just like all the Democrats. DeSantis signed a bill that would restrict that abortion right, even in cases of rape or incest. And then DeSantis said Charlie Crist has voted with Joe Biden 100% of the time. Again, throughout this this debate, and I watched the whole thing, I think it was quite phenomenal. Charlie Crist was turning more orange and orange by the minute, folks. And then he keeps going. And, DeSantis is like, well, Charlie raised this, Charlie raised that. DeSantis and Crist, and you could hear it, in the audience, the heckling, the cackling was all the Democrats on the other side. The Republicans were typically quiet, unless Charlie really, started to be annoying, which he has. He even called Biden the best president, and then, Crist. Then it started going, attacking DeSantis, saying, he asked DeSantis to look in the eyes of the people of the state of Florida and say to them that if you're reelected, you will serve a 4-year term as governor. And he kept saying yes or no. And this was, by the way, this was numerous times that he kept saying that. Finally, this time when he goes yes or no, Ron, DeSantis responded, it's my time, right? And it's not, Chris goes, it's not a tough question, it's a fair question. He won't tell you. Chris was implying that DeSantis is seeking a 2024 presidential run. DeSantis finally, like I said, DeSantis got hit with this 5 or 6 times before he finally, kind of did this and got his eyes out. And then he fired back. He says, listen, I know that Charlie is interested in talking about 2024 and Joe Biden, but I just want to make things very clear, very clear. The only worn out old donkey I'm looking to put out to pasture is Charlie Crist. And at that point, you heard a sleigh of applause and a flurry of boos from the left, a slaver of applause from the Republicans, because why would he say no? DeSantis spoke. Democrats were heckling him with liar, liar, liar. And of course, then Crist started attacking, DeSantis for, flying migrants to using Florida taxpayer dollars to fly jets to Texas to fly migrants up to Martha's Vineyard and saying it's inhumane. DeSantis' response was sad it comes to this, but, sending immigrants to liberal elite areas front and center is the only way to really teach them how to do it. And, of course, they made it about 15 weeks abortion, this, that, and the other thing. DeSantis made the state free. Charlie Crist definitely got his ass handed to him in the debate. Crist tried to attack DeSantis for Hurricane Ian by saying, oh, well, you could have shut this down. You should have made more prepared. DeSantis shot back saying, but, well, you know what Charlie Crist was doing during this? He was hiding out in Puerto Rico. He wasn't helping his community here. When he got back here, what did he do? His campaign was soliciting campaign contributions for storm victims. That's unacceptable. And that's not what a leader would do in time of despair. Furthermore, DeSantis also put him in his place when he basically stated that, you weren't there, and you can't. Hurricane prediction models had said 24 hours prior that it was going to hit Tampa. We prepared Tampa, and then when we knew it was going to hit here, we had people here. I don't believe Charlie Crist had a single damn. No, he didn't, folks. I don't think Charlie Crist had a damn hurricane during his tenure as governor between 2008 and 2000. Was it 2008 or was it 2006? No, it was 2006. Yeah, Crist was governor from 2006 to 2010. We didn't have a damn storm then. We had Wilma and Katrina in 2005. That was during Jeb Bush. That was not Charlie Crist. Charlie Crist had no experience with anything other than being orange and being a career politician. Then, of course, the attack on the LGBTQ, this, that, and the other thing. Here you go again, Ron. It's all about culture wars. It's about dividing us. Whether it's blacks against whites, whether it's gay against straight, whether it's young versus old. That's all DeSantis. That's all Chris did is but he never answered any rebuttals. Chris keeps saying you're not teaching about the history of our country that might offend some people in our schools. We ought to teach facts in schools. We shouldn't have a whitewashed approach to educating our children. This is obviously a liberal site. Taking away the right for all these issues because you don't want to talk about taking away a woman's right to choose. That's unconscious. Okay, so under education, Crist goes back to talking about abortion. The Democrats are making this about abortion. And the truth of the matter is, any educated human being would agree with the 15-week abortion bill. Folks, By the time someone is 15 weeks pregnant, they know they're knocked up. And they know they have 15 weeks. They know within 5, 6, 7 weeks. 8 at most. If that particular time of month doesn't come along or missed a birth control pill or something, go to CVS or even go to a free place, get a fucking pregnancy test. And if you don't want to have a kid, you still have ample time of 7 weeks to have a damn abortion. I agree with the 15-week abortion bill all the time. I don't. And cases for rape or incest, dude, a doctor can write that off because it's up to the doctor to make the decision. But the Democrats don't want you to read the actual bill. Anyhow, running on time here. We may not be able to get to all the news of the day. There's nobody watching at the moment. Washington Examiner, here's to Fetterman and Oz. Good night, people. I just want to start this by saying good night, everybody. Okay, that's a bit of a problem. Don't think you're quite fit to run a convenience store, let alone be a senator from the state of Pennsylvania. As he did start off the campaign or the debate saying good night, everybody. And I was watching this on some liberal, I don't remember his name, but it was some liberal's YouTube, and you could see on the look of his face that he was just, oh man, Oz, it's so mean. I mean, God. And that was just like everybody. I mean, it was totally a liberal audience and everything. The guy couldn't get half of anything right. For example, when he was asked about fracking, I support fracking and I don't. I support fracking and I stand and I do support fracking. He tried to speak about the Statue of Liberty. He couldn't even say the statue. That statue, that thing, it doesn't, it never said don't bring me your tired poor, your hung, I mean, it was bad. It was very bad. And he won't commit to releasing medical records, but maintains he's fit to serve. It was asked that by Dr. Oz as well. Why won't he release the records was even asked by one of the moderators. My doctor believes I'm fit to be serving, and I believe that is where I am standing, which is exactly how he replied. Donald Trump has supported you. He's endorsed you. Was passed by a moderator. Why won't you fully commit to supporting him in 2024? Oz had said, I would support Donald Trump if he decided to run for president. All right, but this is bigger than one candidate. There's a much bigger story. Similarly, Fetterman said he'd back Joe Biden, saying he'd absolutely support him. But remember, he said a week ago, well, that's a choice between up to Joe Biden. He couldn't even say Joe Biden. So again, you have it's a complete disaster. The guy shouldn't be running. And the truth of the matter here is that Fetterman had actually had this stroke the Friday before the Tuesday primary. And the Democrats hid it. They didn't take him off the ballot like they should have. And all of them are saying that he's sound in the mind, but he just can't get it out. And that Dr. Oz is a meanie for heckling him over his strike. Oz did no such thing. None at all. And, again, this was another debate that was all about abortion. Furthermore on that, Chuck Schumer was caught on hot mic telling Joe Biden that Dems are danger going downhill in the Georgia Senate race. Chuck Schumer was caught on a hot mic telling Schumer leads in the race. This is when he said, but it looks like debate didn't hurt too much in Pennsylvania as of today, so that's good. Basically, we're picking up steam in Nevada. Schumer continued referencing Fetterman's poor showing in his first and only debate with GOP opponent Dr. Oz. But like I said, 40% of Democrats are just going to vote Democrat, and 40% of Republicans are just going to vote Republican. But you still have that 20% of undecided people and your independents and whatnot that if they watch this debate with Oz and Fetterman, it's a no-brainer. I mean, it's an absolute no-brainer, folks. There's no way that anyone with a brain would vote for John Fetterman in his situation. And then he said there was problems with the teleprompter and this, that, and the other thing. I don't see that because I was reading it. They had it on the screen that where I was streaming it from. You saw everything on the teleprompter as it was said, folks. As it was said. So there's nothing there. That's fake news. Walker should beat Warnock. They continue to attack Walker. There's continuing to be Me Too's coming out on Walker, but there's never any evidence behind them. So Schumer caught on a hot mic saying, yeah, looks like it's going downhill in Georgia, and that, I believe, has a libertarian running, which would send it to a runoff, and in a runoff, Walker wins, unless there is cheatery. And again, we need to see if Georgia's going to be using Dominion voting systems. Of course, the Democrats. Now, Hillary Clinton has come out and saying the Republicans are already stealing the 2024 presidential election. So if it's okay for Hillary Clinton to be skeptical about an election being stolen, it's okay for everybody else to be skeptical about an election being stolen, unless it's only allowed when a Democrat does it. Anyhow, that one's there. We can throw that one in the pile. Michigan gubernatorial debate between Truder Dixon and Gretchen Whitmer. I believe, is that the name? Yes. Yes, Gretchen Whitmer and Truder Dixon. Spar over abortion and school closures. Well, we only really have one takeaway from this. Other than someone said that Tudor Dixon joked that, well, how are they going to know she's a woman? The name Tudor's not. Well, maybe we should put my picture on the ballot. So, governor has been dishonest. In her past, she's voted against a ban on partial birth abortion. What? Voted against? I don't. There must be something here. Both women say voters will likely have the final say on the issue. However, voters will have the chance to approve or deny. Ballot initiative codifying abortion protections to Michigan's Constitution. If that's what the people want, then I will enforce it, said Dixon. Now, the woman spared over numerous things, but the one thing that I was really looking for out of this is that Whitmer had lied and saying, what are you talking about? The schools are only closed for 3 months. Well, just so it turns out that they were not closed for 3 months. They were closed for until early, I believe, even this year. But then again, they just turn everything onto abortion. There we go. Dixon for her part keeping the schools longer. Perhaps she wasn't paying attention to what was actually happening. We never even had schools. We even had schools that were closed this year, said Dixon. Maybe she thinks she can convince you that schools were only closed for 3 months. But you know better because your students are the ones that are desperately behind. School closures, Michigan governor, boom. Now we're on to the New York gubernatorial debate. That was, I believe that was the gubernatorial debate in Michigan. And that is Zeldin beat robot Hochul big time. And Zeldin might actually win the governor's mansion in New York, which would be great. That would be a huge upset in that liberal stronghold. I don't know whether it's so important to you, with a quote that Kathy Hochul showed exactly why she doesn't deserve to be governor. Zeldin had asked Hochul why she hadn't talked about locking up people who commit crimes, referencing some of the disastrous bail reforms that put offenders back on the streets. This is Fox News, by the way. She claimed people were being put in jail. A lie. Then said that quote. Just like her dismissing subway crime as a sense of fear, Hochul has no idea what's at the forefront of New Yorkers' minds right now: safety and the economy. Of course, she doesn't understand why that's important. Hochul basically stuck to the message that seen her lose her once formidable lead, attacking on abortion January 6th, and neither of which has anything to do with actually worries New York voters. Ken Zeldin stuck to his guns, slamming Hochul's anti-democratic charge on ousting Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg by noting that a New York governor has not just the power but the duty to fire DAs who refuse to do her job. Hochul, crime, not a big deal? No. People aren't getting thrown on the subways. Actually, I think there's been 26 people being thrown on the subways this year, and that's all it's documented. Anyhow, folks, in a week and change, many states there's early voting, and this is the problem. They didn't allow these debates to happen until early voting had already been going on for a long time. And that's a bit of a problem because all these people that now saw, oh, God, Fetterman's that bad? Fuck, I already voted for him. That's the problem, folks. That is how elections are stolen, by allowing people to vote before seeing the candidates debate. We need to put an end to this early voting garbage, or if there is early voting, the candidates have to debate before the first day. That should be a constitutional amendment to the United States Constitution, not the constitutions of individual states. If they're running for federal office, if they're running for governor or any kind of state office, then that's up to the states. But if it's federal office like Senate or U.S. House, there needs to be a debate before early voting, at least one. Anyhow, folks, if you enjoyed the show, like, comment, subscribe. We will catch you later.